Jonathan, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, I've been researching you and I've prepared a few questions. I hope you don't mind while I just get them up so that I can have a little reminder of what I want to ask you in particular. So just for the audience, it's playable, right? But it has the
three.
the three, and we love that because it's like very unique, wonderful logo. So playable games, okay, is built on empowering your community, but what does real empowerment look like beyond tokenomics and buzzwords?
I think the base that we start with is we're a family business. So my wife and myself and our two older sons. So we've got a 24 and a 23-year-old son. The four of us are founders. And then we've built our executive team as a level under that. And then we've got our management team and then our development team.
Yeah.
So the structure comes from a family base. So community comes first for us. We're trying to build a simulation, I suppose, of a family, but in a community. So
I like that.
when you take it from that perspective where you start there, then the ethics of how you treat your family flow downwards into how you treat your community. And so the community is not something that we milk or try to take money from. We're actually trying to give them value, same as you would for a child.
Of course.
So a parent dealing with a child. So that's how we sort of start, and that's where we...
I like that. You know, making the community feel like a family, and therefore the ethics that you have towards your family are shared, you know, and the values are shared amongst the community itself. So just give me a second because I have a few different questions I just want to ask you while I have you here. I'm so lucky. With Playable building its own blockchain and ecosystem, how do you decide whether to build internally versus sponsor external studios, if you will?
Part of it's money. So we're in an ebb and flow cycle. So being in crypto, we're funded by crypto.
Okay.
So when the bull market's running, we have lots of money. And when the bull market's not running, we are on a treasury budget, so what we raised in the last bull market. So we've got to manage that money, so it goes in ebbs and flows. So we're looking for games that are going to add to our community. So our community goal is 1 million players that all play within our ecosystem. So we're building 30 games. Now, by building 30 games, we're going to have 30 games. And the idea is to represent the main genres that are actually out there. So the previous panel was talking about League of Legends and those sort of games. So League of Legends is a MOBA.
Yes.
And so we've got a MOBA. So the idea is to produce a version of that Web 2 game in Web 3 where you can earn, be part of the community. Our community is different. We don't support toxicity and stuff, so we're trying our very best to keep that at a minimal. Young men in general tend to be very toxic to each other, and we're working, as I said, from a family perspective, we're looking at how can we...
Providing that guidance, I guess, you know, and those values as if it would be a family member, you know, teaching them how to behave within a community.
Yeah, but we can't smack them.
No. Perhaps through some sort of AI or something in the future.
Yes.
So yeah, Jonathan, looking back at your marketing and fundraising background, what should today's, you know, indie founders understand about storytelling, you know, when pitching to investors or building community trust?
Well, Playable, we purposely made a decision not to have VCs, so venture capitalists, back us. We've been offered multiple times very large sums of money to help, and that's tempting. But personally, again, coming from a family perspective, we wanted to make sure we had control.
Maintain that control, exactly.
Yeah, and VCs have a very different perspective. They need to make a profit, and it is non-emotional business. And we've seen, just in the last couple of weeks, there's been gaming projects be abandoned by their VCs, and when they exit terribly, and it can crash the whole company. So But in answer to your question, I think the storytelling part is you've got to find your narrative and what is important to you, what your company mission is, what your narrative is going to be. And for us, it's community and family. But there's obviously a whole lot of other levels there, like what are the games fun? Do people want to play them? Can you earn money in them? So part of our goal with Playable is to... I'm a gamer by heart. I've been gaming since I was 20. I'm 60 now. And I bought my first computer just to game. I didn't need a computer for anything else, but I had to play games. Once I'd played my first PC game, I had to have one. So I've been gaming for 40 years, and I've lost my train of thought there, totally.
No, you've been gaming for a very long time indeed. And so basically we're saying about, how about the storytelling and how when you pitch to investors, it's with regards to like how do you, or building community trust. So that was our train of thought that we were going on. And you were mentioning that you don't really particularly like having VCs involved because you don't really want to lose that control and that community aspect. So perhaps it will come back to you if you had something else. But obviously it was lovely to segue because the thing is, it's like having a natural chat anyway. I want to hear all about what it is that you do, and so do our audience. So we'll pop back to that shortly. But I just want to ask you, so you often speak about legendary leaders. Okay. Now, what does that look like inside of a gaming studio today? And how does it shape the way that Playable operates?
I use ship analogies all the time.
But this one's a good one, it's catchy. Legendary leaders. So what does that mean to you?
Well, using the ship analogy, every ship has a captain. And there's two ways to look at being a captain. One is I'm in charge, I have full control, I can execute on command, I can get everything done I want.
Yes.
Or I can look at it from I'm responsible for my crew, I'm responsible for my passengers, I have a goal to get to this point and get everyone there alive.
Yeah.
And they're two very different perspectives.
And it must be done together.
Well, those two perspectives are one's dictatorship.
Yeah.
And like
like dictating.
I don't know what the word is.
Compared to
totally in charge and doesn't have any
still
other.
Early, guys.
Not enough coffee.
We'll get them for you. Don't you worry after. But yes.
But doesn't care about the outcome, only the outcome. Doesn't matter who gets hurt in the process. That's one way of being a captain. Another way of being a captain is to care about everyone who's under your control.
Yes, of course.
So for us, what we want to try and do is to be that sort of captain that a legendary leader to me is someone that when people talk about in the future or in hindsight, they're saying, what I liked about him was he did care about his community. He did care about getting the ship to the port, maintaining the promises that were made, delivering on those promises, and doing everything in their power to get everyone to the safe port, not just him. So I think that's...
Again, it brings back that family aspect. Like you said, I think sometimes when ships are at sea for a long time, there has to be that familial feeling.
Well, that's the best crew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is the best crew because a crew that looks out for each other when times get tough, are going to support each other, look out for each other. And again, that's, the ideal community, if you will, and that's what you're all about. So then I would ask you, now many founders underestimate the importance of culture. So what cultural non-negotiables do you believe every early stage gaming team must protect from day one?
Well, games have to be fun.
Of course.
So
priority number one.
Crypto gaming in general has fallen into a terrible beginning, and it won't end this way, but it began the wrong way. It began purely as a money-making thing.
I see.
And fun was secondary. At Playable, our mandate is to start with fun, then make really good games, so high quality. So our goal, we're only a fairly small, compared to big studios of 200 or 300 people, we're a 40-person studio. So our goal is like AA games, so not really World of Warcraft or the top level games, but the level under that. So high level, professional, but fun first.
Loyal
And,
community as well. I
well,
guess, yes.
and then part of that fun is being able to be part of the community.
Yes.
And if it's high toxicity and everyone's fighting for their lives just in the chats, that's not a fun place to be.
It becomes a stressful environment almost,
Yeah.
doesn't it? And we have that outside in the real world. We don't need that where we come to have fun in our gaming communities. I like that you're bringing back fun as the main priority of gaming, which is the most important thing and something that we should never lose sight of. So, as someone from a marketing and fundraising background, what should indie founders understand about storytelling when pitching to investors or earning a community trust? Like in terms of storytelling, I mean, for example, yourself is a great storyteller with regards to how you see the family values being very important in a gaming community.
Well, yeah, I think, as I said before, I think the narrative that you've got to find is what your actual story is going to be.
Yes.
And then stick to that. And obviously anyone who's investing in a company, what they're looking for is something they can believe in. So what are you pitching? Are you just pitching, hey, we're going to do some sort of Ponzi scheme, some people will get out with a bunch of money, some won't? Or are you pitching, we're trying to build something that's long-term, built to actually be sustained, is going to be self-replicating? They're two very different things. So personally, I like the saying that if you're honest and you tell the truth, you get to sleep each night. So I think that's a good place to be, and if you're building something, build something like that.
Yeah, build something honest. If you build on something honest from the beginning, then it's going to always have that foundation, and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
So then I would ask you, so we're going back to the legendary leaders. So your mission is to help create 10,000 legendary leaders. So what leadership behaviours actually move a gaming studio forward? I mean, we've touched on it a little bit in terms of value, but maybe a bit more in the context of gaming studios, would move it forward during its hardest challenges? It's a bit of a tough question there. We've kind of touched on it a little bit with terms of values, but in the context of a gaming studio, perhaps.
So what sexual?
So basically, like, your mission is to help create those 10,000 legendary leaders, but what leadership behaviours actually move a gaming studio forward, other than, just the foundation of honesty? Like, what else? Behaviours, in particular regards to the studio itself.
The hardest thing with building games is, so we've got a rule in Playable, ship 101, which means not to do with ships, means to put out. But when you're building a game, what they call bracket creep or feature creep is a killer. Whenever you're developing something, while you're developing it, you actually see something better.
Yes.
This could be, we're doing this, what if we added this? And adding that isn't a 3-second ad, it's a 3-week or a 3-month ad. And so we call it ship 101. What is game 101? What do we commit to build? You've got to ship that first, build that, and all the extra things go on the side of that later. They become 102 or 103. And then you actually, so it's a really hard thing to get in practice because you just always want to make it better. And and it can be the smallest thing, and you just, but what if we made that colour? Well, making it colour doesn't just take 5 seconds. Sometimes it does, but often it doesn't. So, and when you do change one thing, you often break something else.
Yes, yeah.
So code is terrible that way. And so ship 101 and then save 102 and 103 to come later. And try and stick to your timetables where you're actually committing to a community. We're going to have our game out. Like GTA 5 just told their whole community several months ago, we're adding a year. So we're not adding a month, they're adding a year. We missed our time frame by a year. So that's what can happen, and the community, that hurts the community a lot.
Yes, especially, I guess, because again, it's that trust, isn't it? When you've told them that you're going to be reaching certain deadlines and things are going to be coming out, or there's going to be certain changes or updates. And if you don't deliver on that, again, it's going to harm that trust, which is what you're all about. And I love that it's about creating that trust in that community, which is the foundation of any good community at the end of the day, whether in the gaming world or in the real world, if you will. I suppose the real world is the gaming world for many many gamers. They probably spend more time there than in the real world, if you will. So what were the biggest hurdles then that you faced transitioning from traditional entrepreneurship to blockchain gaming, and how did you overcome them?
Well, the hardest thing with crypto is it's a cycle. So we've got to budget very carefully because we get all our money at once and then we've got to wait 4 years for the next cycle, or 5 years now. If we're in a 5-year cycle, we'll see. But that's definitely been the hardest thing. Traditionally with business, you have an idea that is funded and working, or you have if you're washing cars or something, you go and wash a car, you get money.
Yes, yes.
So that money is continually flowing. With what we do, the money comes in a lump sum, and then you've got to actually budget it out. And so we've got finance managers and CEOs and stuff that actually manage all that and make sure that we get from A to B.
Okay, so as we're on the sort of the finance side, if you will, or the paying side, PLAYA3ULL gives players a chance to make money doing what they love, as you say. So how do you design systems that reward players but without breaking that immersion or sustainability?
Well, this comes back to what I was saying before, what I forgot.
We came back to it. See, we circled back, guys. That's what happens. You segue around and you'll come back.
So gaming for 40 years, if I added up the hours, days, months, years, I've literally given to gaming. And when I say given, maybe gaming stolen from me. You could argue both ways. So part of PLAYA3ULL's mission is to make that time more valuable. So gamers are gamers because they like gaming, but can we actually add a financial element into that? Can a gamer actually earn money? Now, the first level of that is the third world. We can easily make games where the third world can make money. So someone who lives in Indonesia right now and earns $100 a month, I can make that person $100 a month in a game. So they can now work full-time in the game as their actual job. Doing that in the Western sphere is much harder because you need much higher levels of money. It's coming, but we're not there yet. So one game we're building at the moment is called Dogs of War, and it's an open-world survival game. And we're building out a fairly sophisticated economy. And that economy means that every single item in the game has to be built. So if you want to shoot bullets out of your gun, you've got to buy bullets.
Yes.
So you either use real-world currency to buy them and not make them, or you have to make them, which means you've got to exchange time in the game. So someone in Indonesia might say, I'll exchange the time, I'll go and collect these 3 rocks, I'll go mine those 3 rocks, I'll go and find a forge and I'll forge them. And these all have timers, so forging that might take half an hour. He clicks the button, he's got to wait half an hour, can't do anything else, got to stay next to the forge. So he's burning time, but if he burns that time, then he ends up with all the components, he goes to someone else, he might pay that person in gunpowder or something else to use their forge, he forges it, he can then sell those bullets on our marketplace. And a Westerner who has a job and comes home from work and doesn't want to grind,
have that time to give, yes.
I'd much rather give my $10 to that person.
And it feeds that system.
Exactly. So it becomes an ongoing economy. And so, as I said, the first world feeding the third world, that's easy. We've already got that, and that's working now. The next step is to be able to bring those systems up a level where we can actually get teenagers in the Western world earning their hobby money. So maybe $100 a week in hobby money. So my son earned $50,000 a year playing World of Warcraft.
Oh, wow.
So illegally, but
Guys.
well, World of Warcraft makes it illegal, but this is back in the day. But now they do it themselves.
Yes, yes.
But he used to sell gold. He used to go and grind out all the gold and then sell gold off market to people like me who have a job. I don't want to grind gold. I just want to pay for it. I'll pay you $1,000 for all that gold, and then I can go and buy the best gear and do all
So
that.
someone that has the time versus someone that doesn't have the time.
Exactly.
One is feeding into it, and one is getting the reward from it.
Yeah.
And isn't that true of like most of the world? So it's really creating again like that sort of online or gaming ecosystem, that real gaming sphere, if you will. So we've touched on it a little bit in that case, but I just want to ask you then, because you've said about trust and control, but you've built your own blockchain and ecosystem. So how do you decide when to build internally versus a partner or sponsor external studios?
So money comes down to part of that. A lot of studios bring games to us that are not complete, proper. So there's a saying in game development, 80% of the work is in the last 10% of the game. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people think I'm almost ready to ship, and they're actually a long, long way from shipping. So we've just shipped a product this week from our AI department. We've got an AI department, and we've shipped a talking head video maker. So if you didn't want to do all your videos for social media,
Yes, like an avatar.
you get an avatar.
Yeah, yes.
So we've made a system that does the complete cycle for you in 5 minutes. So rather than doing all that, but to actually ship that product, we've spent a week just doing the little things like getting the contact page built and getting the frequently asked questions built, and they're never thought of. And gaming has a massive big list of that.
Okay. So then how do you balance purpose and passion with the commercial realities of running a gaming business, especially in Web3 where cycles can be volatile?
Well, I mean, it's like any business. If you can do what you love, it
Yes.
helps. So we like gaming. We're pretty lucky to be able to make money out of it. And part of maturity is you've just got to knuckle down sometimes and do the jobs you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you don't want to do. You can either delegate it or you do it yourself. And the job has to be done though. So if you can't delegate it, you're going to have to do it yourself. And that's just the reality of running a business.
Okay. So then I would ask you to, before maybe we pass over to the floor for some questions, I'm just seeing if there's anything that basically, because as we've been in our chat, you've covered most of my questions I had burning in my brain already. So I just want to double check to see if there's anything that I've missed out where I can take us off on a little bit of a segue, if you will. But I would like to ask you, how do you see, your gaming world in the future going? What do you see gaming looking like, say, 10 years from now with AI and everything coming in, AI earning while you play? What do you think gaming's going to look like? Is it going to change across different regions?
I think in 10 years you won't know you're in a game.
Oh, okay, yes.
So Douglas Adams in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy talks about game heads, people on the side of the street like a drug addict, being fed by their family. They're stuck in the game, they can't get out. That's going to be a real problem. It's already a problem for young children now. Sometimes children find it hard to get motivated to go to school, or because the game's so much more addictive. But with AI coming and what AI can do already and what it will be able to do next year, so AI is doubling every 4 months. So our AI department, what it can do today, it couldn't do 4 months ago. What it could do 4 months ago, it couldn't do 6 months before that. So it's doubling so fast and so quickly.
Yes.
And remember, doubling is not a 5% increase.
No, it's literally double.
100% better.
Yes.
So
it's about keeping up with it with regards to regulations and perhaps ethics as well, especially if you're creating an ecosystem where people can earn and also where young people will be present. So how would you speak to the ethics of it if that's not going too deep or whatever, just from your personal standpoint?
Well, I mean,
how do we control that? As you said, you imagine that in the future there'll be game heads, and but then also speaking to a more positive side of it as well. I did have some speakers on the first day, where they were saying that, you know, people accuse gamers of being bingers, if you will, or, you know, that children can get, you know, caught up in binge gaming, but they don't say the same thing about hobbies, for example.
Sure.
But it's the same. It's the same thing, you know. And if gamings provide tournaments and places where also people can earn, perhaps that idea is going to, you know, that mind shift is going to take place where it's not a negative thing to be spending a lot of time within the game, and it actually is supporting lifestyles. And as you said, you know, supporting people in countries that perhaps haven't had that, you know, availability to earn from being online before, you know, in a way that will allow them to, you know, do something that they love while also earning money, which isn't something that is available to everyone in the world, but you're making it available to people. So how would you speak to that? Just enlighten us with anything that you want to say, please. It's an absolute pleasure to have you up here, and I love having, you know, the chance to speak to someone that is really going towards that ecosystem where people will be able to earn and make a living from doing what they love, which is gaming.
Well, I mean, people label everyone something. You're either you're a workaholic, you're an alcoholic, you're you spend too much time with your wife, you don't spend enough time with your wife, all you do is play with your kids, you never play with your kids, you don't work hard enough, you work too hard. You know, people label everyone something. So in the 1800s, they probably called people who read books all the time, she just reads books all day.
It's true.
You know, so, I mean, she doesn't do anything to read books. So, you know, so I think people have to find their own space, and you've got to be happy with who you are and wake up each day living with that and working out what's good and what's bad. I did martial arts for, you can't tell now, but I did martial arts for multiple years and got quite high up in that. But you can overtrain, you can do too much, you can do too many competitions, you can do, you know, and then the opposite is you can do too little.
It's about that balance, if you will. We say like the work-life balance, but I guess also we have to include the life that includes the gaming as well, and having that balance. So touching a bit back on AI, because I actually really love AI, and I was part of the AI show just recently, and I've also had just previous, I don't know if you saw our previous panel was also discussing how AI is moving us into gaming. So how will, you know, AI with also these AI NPCs and stuff that's coming up, how will you regulate that in an ecosystem where money is also flowing, if you will, present? Do you have a way to speak to that?
The non-player character or NPC is purely to assist the game environment. So you can easily make the NPC have no effect on the economy. So they're just...
Do you feel there will be a way that they will be involved in the future, perhaps, in the economy?
In the economy?
Yeah.
Well, there would be no reason you couldn't hire NPCs to work for you. So, but that... We haven't developed that system yet, but that would be something I'd probably consider.
Would it be something you see perhaps happening in the future?
Well, I think Tong was saying that.
Yes, I think exactly. That's why I was thinking, you know, bringing the two conversations together. So we're, you know, our time's sort of getting a little bit low. So I thought I don't want to really, you know, just be selfish and hold on to you just for myself. So I just want to double check. Is there anyone that would perhaps have a question for Jonathan? You know, if you would like to ask a question at all? Anyone has a question? Yes, let me get a mic to you. My colleague's just behind you now.
Hi, thank you so much for your amazing talk. I came here all the way from Canada, and I'm opening my own video game studio. So my vision is to empower the developers to do the best work, to output the great games for gamers going to enjoy. So what would be your top advice for someone like me who opens his own game studio in 2026?
Lean into AI. Get as much done with AI as you can.
Lean into AI. I've heard this theme.
Yeah, I'm background in software developer, so I've been a backend developer for 5 years and in machine learning as well. And over the past year, I've been using AI a lot to accelerate my work, and I see it a lot in the software developer industry. I think there's still a lot of stigma for AI in gaming. So I think AI can actually be very useful to accelerate development for smaller teams like mine in the future to be competitive against big gamers, like big game studios like Activision, EA, and others.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very peculiar take on Web 2 gamers. I think they're very precious, and I think they're very full of themselves, and I think they think they're important when they're not. and they bring all this attitude about what you should and shouldn't do as a game developer, you should tell them to go take a hike and do what you want to do. You build the game you want to build, and then find the community that wants to play that game. So, like, don't get bullied by the community. The community has to come to your game, and then your job is to look after that community. But don't get bullied by people telling you how you should act as a person or what you should do or they were saying before about AI voices. Well, why wouldn't you use AI voices when we've got to change languages for every country? We've got 200 characters. The old way of doing it's going to cost $400,000 to do the voices. The new way costs $10.50. Like, why would you spend $400,000 doing it the old way? That's insane. So just because that's the way it's always been done is not a good answer. So I would say lean into AI, keep your team small, and keep your game small. You want to try and make, as I said, you've got to get to 101. Too many developers are in their 8th year of building this fantastic game and they've never released anything.
Yeah, I think that keeping the scope of the game is very important, to have a clear vision and stick to it rather than try to blow it out of the proportions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
I like that. It reminds me of that famous quote. I'm probably misquoting it a little bit or paraphrasing, but rather build and they will come, right? So build the game, and then he said, and then the community will find you. So build the game you want to build, right?
Yeah.
Well, I like that. That's
Yeah.
very nice.
I mean,
Very inspiring.
You got to listen to your community.
Yes.
But the community shouldn't dictate either.
Yes.
So this is supposed to be symbiotic.
Yes,
Like it's a
symbiotic.
family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
That circles back nicely to our family values again. So some new faces I see in the crowd. Would anyone like to ask a question perhaps as well while we have Jonathan? Anyone else have any questions at all?
Maybe.
Oh, there we are, the gentleman there. Sorry, I'm always facing this way naturally for some reason. I think it's my chair. I do see you guys over there. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
So, right now I am a CS student and I am a game development enthusiast and someone being a story game lover and a person who loves storytelling. And if I want to start a studio, something that you could suggest, like in pitching or game design document or something in general, just how to start studio and something for a indie developer that is most important and most difficult is maintaining a budget and how to use that in terms of like in many years, like games like Expedition 33 has set a big example of how indie games can go and up to what level in a minimal budget according to game development. So something you would like to say about it?
Look, I'm an entrepreneur by heart, so I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And in the first half of my life, the mistake I made was I pursued my passion without care about day-to-day living. So I would advise from 60 years old, get a bill payer that pays your bills and develop at night with your mates. Go and find other developers who are developing, get a group, work together after hours, make sure your bills are paid. Games are extraordinarily hard to be successful. Every week on Steam there is 1,000 new games released. Every week. Almost none of them find traction. And every one of those games is years of work for the developer. So if you think you're going to become a game developer and get rich, unlikely. So what you have to find out is, do you have what it takes to get that perfect game that people will play? And the way to do that is don't sacrifice your life finding out. Keep your life going, move forward while you're doing that, develop your skills, and you'll get, the community will come if the game's good. People want great games. So, but yeah, you just got to, yeah, that's the best advice I can give. So it's too easy to hear the, hey, follow your dream and sacrifice everything, and no one looks at all the broken people on the side of the road that can't pay their bills. You know, you got to be able to pay your bills.
Yes. I like that. Like, maybe don't let the passion consume you too much. Keep your eye, keep
Well,
focused.
keep the passion for after hours.
I like that. Keep the passion for after hours. But
Be passionate.
Be passionate.
But after hours.
But after hours. I like that. That's one of our key takeaways. But as we're running out of time, I just want to then have like one sort of, impart just one more bit of wisdom for us. What would you like to say to wrap up for us after this talk? Do you have something
I'm not
to
very
share?
wise.
You are incredibly wise, believe me, and that is why everyone is here today, to listen to you and to be inspired. We've got our game developers, we've got our gamers themselves that love that you're bringing back that community aspect and that prioritizing of fun. That sometimes can get lost in the way of making the money, right? So it's good to bring back those core values of gaming and remember why we started gaming and our love of gaming in the beginning. So how would you like to just sum up, what we've spoken about before, and just to leave us on, a note, a word, something that we can take away with us as we carry on the rest of this summit?
Well, we're at a gaming show, so Web3 gaming's filled with a whole bunch of scams. So that's crypto. We're the Wild West, and just like the Wild West, there's enormous opportunity. But you've got to be very careful of all the scams out there. So when you're looking for something to be involved in, ask some simple questions. Are the founders doxed? So doxed means, are they available online? Do you know who they are? Can you find them? Can you ring them if you had to?
Yes.
Could you ring the police and say
make sure they're legitimate?
Yeah, make sure they're real people.
Yes.
and you know who they are. Is the industry they're in going up? So we're in gaming. Gaming is growing every year. So being in crypto in gaming is a wise place to be. Are they doing something innovative in that industry? So are we actually changing something, adding something to it? That's important, because just doing the same thing isn't going to cut it. And are they building a community around them? Are people coming? Can you find people that are believers? We have, in our community, we have what we call believers with a 3. So they're our believers. They're bulls that believe in our ecosystem. And you can talk to those people and ask, who is Jono? Who's his wife? Who are the exec team? Do they have our interests at heart, or are they just trying to milk the whole thing? So they're the sort of questions you need to ask to protect yourself. And if you can get past the scam side of crypto, you will find this amazing opportunity that's not available anywhere else in the world, which is to get that unicorn of 100x or 1,000x return on your time and investment. So.
Right. Well, we have a question. Just one question. Yes, you're still in time. You've got 3 minutes. The floor is yours.
So you were talking about gaming and the gaming community and you're building games on the blockchain and on crypto. When do you think would gaming be separate from cryptocurrencies? Because crypto is more of a currency, it's more of a finance type of thing. When will gaming be separate from the crypto market and the crypto cycle? And when will it be able to sustain itself? Not because like the market is going up and down and then the game people will be interested in it and then not. When will that be stable?
Right, in playable games, you mean?
Yes.
Right. So, you've touched on a really good point, and that is we have the benefit most game studios don't have, and that is we're funded. So all the game devs I know who are successful went through torture to get successful. We didn't. We were able to hire really good people. So the crypto provides the funding and gives us the time you need. And the reason we've chosen to build 30 games out over a 10-year period is we know that picking a game and saying this is the game that'll be successful is a pretty hit and miss strategy. Having 30 games and building a whole community, because gamers tend to like playing this game today, and then next month they might be not so interested in that game, but they want to play something different, and then they'll come back to this one again with their mates on Thursday night, and then not play it for a month, but they'll play these two over here. So having the studio of games that people can choose between. So we haven't been trying to build our player base yet. We've put all of our money into building the actual games, and we're one of the only Web3 companies that actually has 5 games out. So most studios don't have anything out, or they're just all promises of what they're going to do. And then you've got NFT collections that are saying we're going to build a game. They never build a game, so they don't even know what they don't know. So building games is hard, but running a studio is even harder. So our goal is to get the games out, which we've done, and the next bull run then we actually start advertising out to gamers to come to the ecosystem. And then the games will, the ones that are popular, some will be popular, some won't. And we don't know which ones those are yet. So we'll find that out by test and measure. And the ones that grow, we'll put more effort and money into. The ones that wither on the vine, we will allow to wither on the vine. So don't chase bad money with good money. So if the one fails, let it fail, and move on to the one that's being successful, or the 5 that are being successful.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, and what a fantastic note to wrap up on, and a fantastic question with which to end. So thank you once again, Jonathan. You have imparted us with so much wisdom, and it's interesting for me personally to see like where gaming is going in terms of like being able to earn to play. And I love the idea that people will be able to earn doing what they love, which is true of every other hobby, and finally now it is becoming a reality in our gaming as well. So thank you once again, guys. Please give me, join me rather, giving a applause, please,
Thank you.
to Mr. Jonathan. Thank you so much.